everyone, and welcome to the sixth episode of 218 Top 50s. Already the sixth one. It's actually kind of insane that I've held up for that long with proper edited videos. But anyway, so today I've unfortunately only got one top 50 for you guys, which is top 50 Flame Runner on GCN Mushroom Bridge. Now, why do I think that this track is actually important to learn how to properly run? Well, to put it simply, the track is just broken for running, plain and simple. And it's due to a lot of factors. The first being that the shroom cut doesn't save that much time, all things considered. The second is that backing in the tight line of the cars is really strong, especially Fibs, which have a much wider hitbox. But most importantly, it's how the start of the race plays. Essentially, at the start of a Mushroom Bridge race, you will be either forced into a tight line if you're 1, 2, 4, or into a wide line if you're anyone else. And even then, if you're 2 or 4, if you're on someone else's team that the first, he can simply back using the box you get freely for like the first, during the first 2 seconds of the map just to gain a huge lead. It's really important then that you just manage to keep that lead for as long as you can. Now, as you may know, this track is more so a spear track than a flame runner track, and while that is true, the times are really not that far apart. Both times are set by fatality, and the flame runner BKT is 1.4 seconds behind spear, which would be 12th worldwide. The only really, I mean, obviously spear is much better because the track is basically just straight lines. Like it's basically just 4 big straight lines that chain with each other. Three if you don't count the shroom cuts. But essentially, yeah, it doesn't lose that much time, and I do believe that both the ghost and the ghost is somewhat easy on Flame Runner, and you can absolutely go for it without going for spear, actually learning the track properly. So why don't we just go into it, and I'll show you both the little choke points that this map has as we go along the analysis. And here we are. Alright, so the good thing about this track is that it's quite actually easy to explain the lines in general, because it's just go tight, go tight, go tight, go tight most of the time, with a varying amount of mini turbos depending on the turn. So this one specifically, you'd rather like 2, or BKT goes for 1 if you check, but that's mainly because he gets a really late trick, so he gets a longer 97 wheelie, so he doesn't need the second mini turbo. Here you just go for 1 mini turbo, and here comes the first choke point out of 2 on this relatively short map, which is the shroom cut. Now, and I know what you might say. You might say, well, this is really easy, Scope. You just like take this line right here, or this line, and you just shroom, and there you go. Well, that's partially true, but what you want to know is that you want to end off here with a wheelie while you still have your shroom boost up, which will allow you to keep that speed for the entirety of this flat section here, and then hop and go off with a low trick. Here's what it looks like. So you shroom, I wheelie late here in order to keep 97 speed the entire way through, and then I hop and I go off in a drift. Unfortunately, I didn't get the low trick. I do not know if it's better exemplified in another lap of this run, but just know that you can get a low trick if you hop early enough. It doesn't really lose that much time if you fail it, but it is good to remember. What you want to do here afterwards is land in a drift and then immediately start wheeling, so you can wheelie with the trick boost still active. Unfortunately here I do not do this because I wheelie too late, so instead I just go for a mini turbo here and wheelie using that. It's not that much slower, it's a good contingency plan in case you fuck up, but the key here is just to use the trick boost to wheelie immediately. So here you can see that I do in fact fuck up. I just empty and go back into it. And here you want to chain 3 empties with just some wheelies in between. And the reason why you don't want to chain them immediately is because the last empty you want to use as a way to get easily into that part of the bridge, delaying it so that you release it around this part right here and just go into it freely. As you can see, I release it. Oh, actually I released it much earlier. So yeah, you release it earlier than that, actually. Yeah, my bad. You released it 1 block earlier, so you go freely into it, and then you can just align yourself here. And there's the second choke point. The reason why this is second choke point is because the trickable part here is a bit vague. The reason why I say this is because it's really easy to go too far to the right and just end up going off, especially if you side trick. Do not side trick on this. Side trick on this is pretty much death immediately because your back wheel will just end up somewhere, or one of your wheels will end up somewhere around here, and it's really easy to just clip off. So keep it to up and down tricks as much as possible. You'll want to align close to what I'm doing with the Abbey Lash. Keep your right side of the wheel align with the edge of the bridge while going as straight as possible. And after this point, actually, both me and Abalash, I only knew about this once I actually finished this run because I didn't watch BKT that carefully before, but you can start tricking right here, actually. If you're good on your chain tricks, you can just start going immediately and just trick, 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 chain trick boost until you land. And as you see, I start tricking really late, and you want your last trick to go a bit off, so you obviously don't go into the wall. You just drift a bit right, so you end up tricking here and just wheeling immediately after for a clean lap entry. And there you go. That's about all I have to really say for this. And so the last thing I want to show off before I show off the actual run is the PBs that I've gotten in that time. I've gotten a pretty clean GCN BC PB that does beat Staff Ghost and misses an empty lap 3, unfortunately, but I still have a full-on 0.6 to save for top 50, which for a 3-minute 9-second long track doesn't sound that hard, but it is a pretty hard map to drive in general. There's Choco Mountain, which I actually cleared in a lot less time than I thought I would. But I do not think I'm going to go for the top 50 on this immediately. It was really just like a random track that I wanted to go for. There's also GCN Luigi Circuit, which I did beat Staff Ghost for, and I hated every second of it. This is not a fun track to drive IMO. It's really boring, and unfortunately top 50 on it is going to be a plague because it is actually really good because, of course, it's a retro, it's a short map, it has all the reasons for it to actually be a difficult top 50 to go for. And finally, just some random fungal jungle PB, my first time on the map, getting a feel for it and realizing just how tough it's going to be to drive. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later. Bye!